Don't react. Take command. The secret to being stoic in a noisy world. Welcome to Live Stoic, Live Strong. Have you ever noticed how a small worry can snowball into a crisis, turning your mind into a battlefield? What if the chaos outside isn't the real enemy, but the storm within? There is a way to face life's harshest blows with calm, control, and clarity, and it begins with one ancient mindset. Without a stoic mindset, you risk being swept away by stress and anxiety. Minor problems begin to grow, silently stacking upon one another, until one day they crush you under their weight. Exhaustion follows. Emptiness creeps in. Fulfillment becomes a distant dream. But Stoicism offers a different path, a way to face challenges with unwavering calm. Without it, every obstacle feels heavier, every setback sharper, and life begins to feel like a cycle of regret, frustration, and emotional fatigue. When you embrace Stoicism, you don't just survive, you find inner peace. You begin to move through life, not as a victim of circumstance, but as the master of your response. So watch until the end of this video and discover how the Stoic handles any situation. And afterward, let me know in the comments which insight struck you the deepest. Because let's be honest, deep inside each of us, there is a storm. Anger, fear, despair, they churn in the hidden corridors of our hearts, threatening to consume us when life gets hard. We don't always show it, but we feel it. That heaviness, that quiet chaos. Yet within that storm lies our greatest opportunity. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Let that sink in. The things that block our path are the path. Our obstacles aren't barriers. They are tools, testing grounds for our character. What matters most isn't what happens to us, but how we rise to meet it. Our fate isn't fixed. It's forged in how we respond to life's hardest moments. This is the essence of the Stoic journey. It's not a set of quotes. It's not cold detachment. It's a deep, soul-shaping discipline, a quiet rebellion against chaos that begins not outside, but within. The path of the Stoic is the path inward, where we meet our own raw emotions and transform them, where anger becomes awareness, fear becomes focus, despair becomes strength. This isn't philosophy for bookshelves. This is a way of life. It's a daily practice of mastering our emotions, not by suppressing them, but by seeing through them. With tools like reflective journaling, deep breathing, and silent meditation, we carve out an inner sanctuary, a place untouched by noise, where reason becomes our flame in the dark. Because in a world full of noise and disorder, reason is the anchor. And when we drift, we remember the words of Seneca, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How often do we torment ourselves, not with what is, but with what we fear might be? This is why we examine ourselves daily. We challenge every irrational thought. We dismantle every unfounded fear. We interrogate every story our mind tries to tell us. And in doing so, we begin to see clearly. We strip away illusion. We realize that while we can't control the world, we can master how we perceive it. And that alone changes everything. This is fortitude. This is the Stoic fire. And from here, we begin. Previously, we stepped into the inner sanctum of the Stoic mind, where emotions are not suppressed, but transformed, and reason becomes the quiet force that guides us through chaos. Now we take the next step, the courage to persist, no matter the storm. Because the path of Stoicism is not for the faint-hearted. It is not a gentle stroll through comfort, but a trial by fire. It demands a fierce, steady courage, the kind that doesn't deny pain, but reshapes it into power. True courage is not loud. It does not boast. It is quiet, enduring, and resolute. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. As emperor, he bore the weight of an empire and the unrelenting pressure of war, betrayal, and loss. Yet, he stood firm, not with rage or despair, but with grace, with dignity. His reign was not marked by ease, but by unwavering endurance. And in that, we see the essence of true power. Thank you for staying with Live Stoic, Live Strong. It means you're seeking more than words. We're here for that journey with you. His life reminds us, our hardships are not curses. They are the chisels that carve out our strength. We do not retreat from adversity. We walk straight into it, eyes open, heart steady, because we understand. Every blow we endure, every moment of discomfort, shapes us into something more resilient, more refined. Picture a wild, relentless river. It doesn't flow in a straight line. It crashes into stone, twists through narrow canyons, reshaping the very earth over time. Not because the path is smooth, but because it persists. That is our path too. We don't overcome by force alone. We adapt, endure, and evolve. And with this mindset, amor fati, the love of fate, we begin to see life differently. We stop asking, why me? And start saying, let this be part of me. We embrace not just the good, but the difficult, the painful, the unfair, because we know that everything we experience is a necessary ingredient in the alchemy of our becoming. Our ancient teachers did not see fate as something to fight, but something to fuel us. We are not leaves blown by the wind. We are builders. We are sculptors of destiny. Each choice, each act of will, chisels us into who we are meant to become. To say, I will be stoic, is not a passive phrase. It is a vow, a declaration of strength. It means we are ready to rise above fear, ready to silence the chaos of the world with the clarity of our minds. Together, we walk this higher path, not as isolated individuals, but as a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a fellowship bound by self-discipline and a shared desire for inner peace. And each day, as the first rays of sunlight pierce the darkness, we are presented with a choice. Will we rise with purpose, or will we sink into the softness of comfort? Marcus Aurelius warned us, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. So act, while it is still in your power. Be good. This is not a call to fear death. It is a call to love life, fiercely and urgently. Every breath is a gift. Every action, a chance to embody what we stand for. And to truly live the Stoic life, we must carry these truths with us, not just in thought, but in practice. We must weave them into the very rhythm of our days. Having embraced the fire of adversity and the power of choice, we now turn to the tools, the daily disciplines, that fortify the Stoic soul. Because mastery of the mind is not achieved in a single moment, but in the quiet repetition of meaningful practice. It begins and ends with stillness. Each day, we carve out time for daily reflection and journaling, a sacred space where honesty meets the page. In that silence, we face ourselves. No masks, no distractions. We ask, what stirred within me today? Did I act in alignment with my values? What could I have done better? Like a sculptor with a chisel, this quiet reflection chips away at the rough edges of ego and impulse. Seneca once wrote, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. In your journal, endings and beginnings blend, allowing your inner self to evolve, slowly, deliberately, like stone becoming form. Then comes mindful meditation, a daily act of surrender and strength. We sit, we breathe, and we observe our thoughts, not as truths, but as passing clouds drifting across a vast sky. This is not a ritual for calm alone. It's an exercise in freedom. Because when we learn to witness our thoughts without clinging to them, we free ourselves from the storm of our own minds. We see clearly. The fear, the worry, the doubt, they are not permanent. They never were. And when clarity returns, we step outside, to the greatest teacher of all, nature. Among the trees, the rivers, and the shifting seasons, we are reminded of life's endless cycle: growth, decay, renewal. We learn that nothing stays the same, and that change is not an enemy to resist, but a rhythm to dance with. Just as winter surrenders to spring, our pain gives way to growth. There is beauty in every transformation. Then, as life confronts us with moments of discomfort or anger, we pause and engage in inner dialogue. Is this reaction truly within my control? What is this moment here to teach me? These questions are small keys to great doors, each one a turning point that can transform an impulsive reaction into a conscious choice. As Epictetus taught us, our true power lies not in controlling what happens, but in mastering how we respond. And so, with these practices, reflection, meditation, communion with nature, and self-inquiry, we begin to walk the Stoic path not just in thought, but in action. Every hardship, every triumph, every quiet moment becomes part of the journey. A journey not toward perfection, but toward transformation. Because we do not walk this path to simply endure, we walk it to transcend. We rise, not once, but again and again, not because life is gentle, but because we are fierce in our commitment to growth. And in those silent hours, when the world feels unbearably heavy, we return to the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength lives in you, in me, in all of us who choose this path. We do not walk alone. We are a fellowship, bound not by blood, but by discipline, reason, and resolve. Shoulder to shoulder, we transform trials into triumphs. We gather the fragments of adversity and forge from them a guiding light. That light is the Stoic flame, burning quietly but relentlessly within. Now, as the world outside swirls with uncertainty and injustice, we stand at the crossroads, not as victims, but as architects. Architects of a new way of living. Within each of us burns a spark, waiting to be fanned into something greater. The Stoic life is not one of surrender. It is one of action, deliberate, focused, and fiercely alive. Let us rise to that calling, not tomorrow, but now, with courage, with clarity, with the fire of purpose in our chest. Having committed to daily practices that anchor us in clarity and resilience, we now turn our gaze outward, to the legacy that guides our inner transformation. The path we walk is illuminated by the footsteps of giants. Let us pause, just for a moment, to honor those who walked this road before us. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, pillars of Stoic wisdom, whose words have echoed through centuries like the steady beat of a war drum against chaos. Their voices remind us of a powerful truth. Strength is not found in denying emotion, but in commanding it. To feel deeply, yet act wisely. That is the Stoic way. They teach us to stand upright, not because the world is kind, but because we have trained ourselves to be unshakable. To greet each hardship not with fear, but with open arms and a steady gaze, trusting that within the storm lies a forge in which our character is formed. In every setback, there is a silent call to rise, not in defiance, but in purpose, not with bitterness, but with resolve. This journey is not easy. It was never meant to be. But in our struggles, we find the raw material from which we sculpt a resilient soul. Every bruise, every scar, every sleepless night becomes part of the masterpiece that is our becoming. And when we walk this path with courage, we don't walk it alone. We become guiding lights for others lost in the fog of modern despair. And so, as we begin to draw this reflection to a close, understand this. The Stoic path is not a final destination. It is a lifelong pilgrimage. Each day presents a new chance, a sacred moment, to choose mastery over reaction, reason over impulse, presence over distraction. It is in these small choices that we fortify our spirit, preparing it for the inevitable storms of life. We are not defined by what happens to us. We are defined by what we do with what happens to us. As we carry forward the torch of Stoic wisdom, let us make a quiet vow, one that doesn't shout, but endures, to remain vigilant in our thoughts, unyielding in our integrity, and gentle in our compassion, both toward ourselves and those we walk beside. Because it is in the darkest nights of the soul that the most enduring strength is born. So now I turn to you. Will you rise above the noise and chaos that seeks to drag you down? Will you fan the inner fire that transforms pain into purpose, that turns adversity into advantage? Will you, in the face of uncertainty, choose to walk forward, not with fear, but with unwavering grace? This is not the journey of one. It is the journey of many, a collective rising of those who believe in something greater than comfort, the pursuit of inner excellence. Remember, the legacy of the Stoics was never about silent suffering. It was always about active transformation, about standing tall when the world bends, about holding the line when the winds howl. We are not victims of fate. We are its sculptors. We are not pawns of emotion. We are its masters. Let this path be more than a philosophy. Let it be a fire in your veins, a compass in your chest. Let it guide your every breath, every act, every choice. As Marcus Aurelius said so profoundly, do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. So let us begin, truly begin, not in name, but in every fiber of our being. The journey is long, the night may be deep, but our resolve, it is forged in the eternal flame of purpose. We are the guardians of our minds. We are the stewards of our souls. And our time is now. If this message has touched you, help it reach others. Subscribe, like, and share this video with those you care about. Drop a comment below. Let us know what resonated most. Let us grow this community of seekers. Together. Thank you for your time. If one idea touched you today, come back next time, it may reach deeper. Share this with someone who needs a quiet moment. See you in the next video.